Hi, this is Julian from Endoxa. In this video I'm going to talk about argument types. If you want to be able to make a strong argument, it helps to understand how argument works. Now, you could study logic and figure it all out for yourself, but that would take you a long time, and I'm sure you've got enough to do studying your own subjects. Making sense of arguments is the job of argumentation theory, to study and classify the ways that arguments work. There are millions of arguments, but there are not millions of ways of making an argument. So we've taken the theory and simplified it. In Endoxa, we've done this in three ways: breaking arguments into steps, classifying each step into a type, and making the whole thing visual. Breaking things into steps and making things visual are quite straightforward ideas, but argument types less so. So in this video, I'm going to explain the idea of argument types using a few examples. In Endoxa, an argument is broken into steps. An argument step moves from something we know, the premises, to something new, a conclusion. Argument steps are not complicated. In this example, it's clear that the premises above imply the conclusion below, but not all argument steps work in the same way. Here's a different example. It's also obvious that it works from this premise to this conclusion, but it's also clear it works in a different way from the first. The logic is not the same. Here's a third example, which is different again. The differences between how these three argument steps work is shown by their different argument types. The argument type for this argument step is implication. An implication argument step needs an if-then statement or a close equivalent to that. You could look this up in a logic textbook as modus ponens, but we've called it implication because it's probably easier to understand. The argument type for this argument step is called entailment. Entailment is the idea that one statement being true can make another one true. Entailment isn't a rule of formal logic like implication is. It comes down to our common sense knowledge of the world, or how language works. We just see that one thing follows from another. This argument step uses the expert opinion argument type. Expert opinion, also known as argument from authority, does just what it says. It applies the judgment of an expert. In all, we have 14 different argument types in Endoxa. Now, there are a lot more in the textbooks, but we've simplified things as much as possible. Here are all three of these examples. If you click on the question mark on one of the argument type boxes, you get more information. You get the argument step written out in words, the kind of language you'd use in an essay. You also get critical questions. These help you think further about the argument step and develop the argument further. Each argument type has a different set of critical questions. There's also a link to a video giving further explanation of the argument type. Now, it's important to realize that argument types only connect statements that are a genuine argument step. There's no argument type that can connect these two statements with this one below, because it would be a nonsense. All genuine steps of an argument can be connected using the argument types, but not nonsense. Argument types are used in Endoxa to make the reasoning more objective, so we know how each step of an argument is working. They're also used to introduce the critical questions, which show how a step in an argument can be undermined or supported, and this helps you develop the argument further. That's the end of this training lesson. Thank you for listening.